goodness, I have to be closer. Everyone can hear me now. Okay. Well, good morning, Denver. My name is Julianne Kelty, and I have myalgic encephalomyelitis. I'm so sorry. I'm going to lose it. I was diagnosed only less than a year ago. Less than a year. After at least 2, maybe 3 years of ruling out MS. The symptoms were really similar. I had been actually working very part-time, from going from full-time to very part-time. So when somebody mentioned earlier 4-hour days at work, I was doing that maybe 2-3 times a week, 4-hour shifts, working with Alzheimer's patients, which I had actually in that field been doing for at least 15, almost 20 years throughout those years. Anyway, loved the field, absolutely learned everything, knew inside and out, everything about Alzheimer's, and somehow I could sort of relate to some degree. Some of that might have just been this mental fog we all go through. But the similarities to MS had started because I was thinking, gosh, I'm working 4-hour shifts and I'm exhausted. I would go to work after the kids got off to school and such, and I would take a 20-minute nap before I went into the person's home to help them. And after I was done, which entailed a lot of mental, emotional, psychological, you name it, interactions with the one person I might have been there to help, taking them to the grocery store, coming back, I was so tired that before I left the parking lot, I would drive somewhere so she wouldn't see me, the client, and then I would take another 20-minute nap, and then head home, which was a 40-minute drive, so I could be home for my kids to get off the bus. This was really not normal. At least in my mind, definitely something was wrong. It got to the point where I just literally could not do it anymore, so I ended up quitting. So some of the things I experienced was, of course, this exhaustion. I couldn't understand what was going on. A lot of brain fog. I couldn't keep up with conversation, tongue-tied, to the point where I feel as if, like even now, when my tongue is just kind of like twisted and lost, and it's like, I've got to think here and work. So finding the right word was really hard to do. Having pain in my joints for no apparent reason. Struggling to walk at times, going up a stair and realizing I have to tell my body to move my left leg up the stairs so that I could go. Otherwise I'd drop. Pins and needles, when the temperatures would get above, like right now it's kind of getting warm, but when the temperatures would go right above 60, 65 degrees or so, I would get such pins and needles around all of me that I kept thinking, gosh, this is like MS. So after a period of years of being told no, finally I realized something isn't right. MRIs would come back, only brain lesions, nothing on the spine. They just simply said, no, I'm sorry, you don't have MS. So that led us to where we're at now. All this exhaustion, physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion, not just the chronic fatigue, but exhaustion like you've run a marathon and then your legs just can't hold your body in the weight anymore. After tons of tests and MRIs, I was discharged from MS Center, and here I am in this path. I hold a master's degree in psychology. I have a black belt just a year ago with my older son in Taekwondo. It took us 6 years, which isn't typical because we just took it really slow. But we got our black belt because I was not going to give up. I was going to get that black belt. In 4 months prior to April 29th of the date we tested, it was a very physical, mental, emotional, very intense training we had to do, which was part of the testing. It about killed me. It was just a lot. And I didn't know why I was struggling so bad. But I got that black belt. And that's what my bigger goal at that time was. I've had a private practice in the adoption field. I used to work with people, mostly kids who were adopted, who had a lot of trauma. I've worked in, as I said earlier, different capacities with Alzheimer's patients for more than 15 years. But now I no longer work. I no longer do any Taekwondo, although I kind of remember because your body somehow remembers. And I have I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful life in some ways. Here I am on the physical sense. I might look to everybody else as, hey, what's up? I'm fine. I look great. I can do this. I'm all right. What's your complaint? Well, I'm shaking right now because I'm scared. I'm nervous. But I don't feel so great right now myself. I'm exhausted too. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to be like, honey, I can't do anything today. We live in Elizabeth, Colorado. I live with my husband, John, and we have two boys, a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old who's autistic. They are my world. So we live on 2 acres of property. We have a dog, a cat, a bunny, she's a big bunny, fish, tons of fish, a bearded dragon, and we have chickens. And we used to have goats, and I don't recommend goats for anyone with ME. It's not a good idea. They are very powerful, overwhelming, but they're great. So with these chickens, no. This morning, I went outside to unlock the birds. Those chickens, we call them girls, because we have almost all girls but 2 roosters. They were all so excited to go outside, and I had remembered that the neighbors diagonally from us have a huge barn, and they have a mama fox and her babies. Well, mama fox and babies are out because they want to have some breakfast. Well, they happen to love chickens. So I went ahead and I turned and made sure nobody outside was around to see and hear me, which probably didn't matter. And I yelled at the fox, and I said, "Hey, Mama Fox, you mess with me, I'm an ME warrior. You mess with me, I'm gonna mess with you." And I looked around at everybody, and just to make sure nobody else was around, the place was silent. Not a bird, not a gopher, not a donkey, no nothing. No chickens clucking, it was silent. I scared everybody. The thing is that I was willing to fight for my chickens. And whatever that fox tries to do, she's gonna regret it. And that's what we're here to. We're here to fight. We're here to fight for ourselves, for our rights, for our pride, for our bodies, for our minds, for our life. And we're here to fight for everyone else too who goes through it. So I do appreciate all of you being here, and have the best day we can possibly have. Thank you.